There is one other thing that is coming soon with the release of Midnight. We have been here talking about the specs, the meta, who is going to be strong, who needs help with some balance tuning, etc, etc. But what is also coming out is Blizzard's game and its systems. How are you going to be gearing up? What are you going to be, for example, spending on your crests? The fact that the crest system has changed and the whole gearing up process will be different compared to the War Within. So for today we have the important change in how you will be gearing up your character, as well as an even more important possible shenanigan cheese bypassing of spending your crests. So number one change is that up to now the main change from the War Within to Midnight was the fact that instead of spending 15 crests per upgrade, so 15, 30, 45, 60 and 75 for the full 6 out of 6 piece, Blizzard changed it to be incremental. So to upgrade from 1 out of 6 to 2 out of 6 it costed 10, and then it would cost 20, and then 30, 40 and 50, for a total of 150 crests to upgrade instead of 75. So TLDR, they doubled the cost of upgrading, even though they only increased your weekly cap from 90 to 100. So before you had 90 crests per week and it took you 75 for a full upgrade. Now you had 100 crests per week, but it took you 150 for a full upgrade. Now, yes, there was a very minor positive, the fact that the first upgrade, the 1 out of 6 piece into 2 out of 6, only costed 10 instead of 15 that we have now in the War Within. So technically, if you went on and upgraded every piece of your gear for the first upgrade only, spending 10 only, it was a discount compared to the War Within, and even Dragonflight you were spending less. However, if you wanted to go past that, if you wanted to go to the 3 out of 6, 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6, it would have all costed progressively more and more. This was setting up our increase the item level to be much slower than the War Within. The programmed end of you requiring still hero track crests, so the ruined crests, when in the War Within these would have been obsolete by week 3. You should have been done, needing those crests by week 3. In Midnight, with those changes, it would have been week 10. It would have been 2.5 months, more than 2.5 months before you actually were done needing these. So the big change that has been determined in the beta is the fact that, number one, Blizzard has gone back standardizing all of the crests. So now, instead of this progressive cost increasing with your track of gear, is all 20 crests from 1 out of 6 to 2 out of 6, and then 20 from 2 out of 6 to 3 out of 6, all the way up to the max level. So instead of costing 75, 15 per upgrade, it costs 100, 20 costs per upgrade. So you went from the War Within, a full upgrade costing 75, and you had 90 per week, to now a full upgrade costing 100, and you having 100 per week. So in the old system, you were left with 15 extra quests. In this system, you are left with nothing. The crafting of your gear has also been increased accordingly. In the War Within, upgrading a piece of gear costed you 4 upgrades. So it costed you 60 crests. Because now 4 upgrades in Midnight costs 80 crests, then the crafting of the piece of gear also costs 80 crests. Now this is better than the previous Midnight version of gearing, but still slower than the War Within's version of gearing, because true, we went away from the week 10 requirement for you to spend all of your hero track crests, your ruined crests. We are now down to week 6. You should be done by week 6 with the hero track crest, which is still a month and a half. Compared to the week 3 you would have been done in the War Within. So you're still slower in gearing up your character compared to the War Within, the gearing up process. It has gone up compared to the older version by the first 3 resets. Once the season opens, you should be 3 now, a bit, depending on how lucky you are with your raid gear, 3 item levels higher than you would have been with the older system. Now, there are a few, though, interesting possibilities with these changes. Number one, as you know, or maybe you don't know, all of the track of your gear has now been standardized to be 6 out of 6. So even the lower level tracks, like for example champion track gear, which used to go higher, is now stuck at 6 out of 6, which also makes it weaker, because 8 tracks of the champion gear was able to go higher up, closer to the hero track gear. Now that it stops at 6 though, your champion track gear will be weaker. And the other better change, which can be used and abused as it stands, is the fact that now for Blizzard, to make it simple, they have made each and every upgrade track only require a single crest, which has also been, to make it simpler, renamed the same name as your track of the gear. So you have a champion track, you will now need champion dawn crests. You have a hero track piece of gear, you now need hero dawn crests. And if you have a myth track piece of gear, you need myth dawn crests. Very simple, right? Very straightforward. No confusion with what crests do you need, what's the checkpoint in where you have to switch from a crest to a different one, like it was with hero track gear. Once you reach 4 out of 6, if you wanted the last 2 upgrade pieces, you needed the myth crests, which was obviously very bad for players who were going to do like mythic raiding, for example, or just get myth track pieces from the vault to waste myth crests in hero track gear. It felt like a waste. Now instead it's all standardized by the gear track you have the item on. Now where can this be used though? Well, if you look at the spreadsheet here, the item level upgrades of the different pieces of gear, you can see that still the hero track 6 out of 6 goes all the way up to be equivalent with a myth track 2 out of 6 piece. So this already means that by spending only hero crests, so never doing, for example, mythic raid content to get those myth crests, or even high level mythic plus keys to get the myth crests as a reward, you can still get all of your gear to be at myth 2 out of 6 item level, just from hero crests. Because if you can upgrade now all of your hero gear to 6 out of 6 without needing the older gilded crests, now called myth crests, you can now get on par with myth track 2 out of 6 just from hero gear. So this is good even for the less competitive players, the ones that would have had less, fewer access to these higher item level pieces. They can still bring the hero track gear all the way up to 6 out of 6 just with hero track crests. Now, where is the other benefit though of this? You should have been able to notice it with this logic. Because the logic is, imagine you loot a hero track, 2 or 3 out of 6 piece from your early days of Mythic Plus being open, and it's got the completely wrong stats, it's awful, you don't really want to use it. And then in the reset after, you get from the Great Vault a myth track 1 out of 6 piece in the same slot. It's a helmet. You can now use best in slot stats as well. So easy, I just pick this myth track 1 out of 6 helmet. Where the benefit comes from is that now your old, scuffed and unwanted helmet from the hero track piece, which you hopefully didn't thrash away, you didn't vendor it or disenchant it, but you kept it in your bags, now this hero track 1 out of 6 helmet can be upgraded for free all the way up to 5 out of 6. Because just like it works right now in the War Within, if you have an item of higher item level, your other items can also be upgraded for free, right? And what's even better in this expansion, as you might have known, there is no more costs of Valor Stones. Valor Stones are gone to upgrade gear. So it's not even a case of, yeah, but now that I have to upgrade all of this gear I wasn't using, it would cost me thousands of Valor Stones. I would have to start grinding things I don't care about just to earn the currency needed for upgrades. This is also gone. Valor Stones will no longer be a thing for upgrading gear. So you loot from the vault the myth 1 out of 6 piece. Because of it, you can upgrade your hero track to 5 out of 6 for free. And now you're asking yourself, yeah, but for what? We just established the hero track piece I looted at the wrong stats, and I didn't want it. So why would I upgrade it to 5 out of 6? Well, if the cost discount is going one way, it can also go the other way the same. Because now that your hero track piece is 5 out of 6, and we have established you are spending the same crests of the upgraded track, what this means is you can take the hero track piece at 5 out of 6, upgrade it to 6 out of 6 with hero track crests, then you move to your myth track piece again, which is still at 1 out of 6, but since you now have a hero track piece at 6 out of 6, which is higher item level, Now your mid-track 1 out of 6 piece can be upgraded to 2 out of 6 for free, because your hero 6 out of 6 item is now 276 item level, your 1 out of 6 mid piece is at 272, lower item level, the upgrade is free. This allows you to get basically all of your gear technically at 2 out of 6 mid-track for free in terms of mid-crest. If you upgrade hero track pieces with hero crests, you will get the free discount on your mid-track gear, which is obviously more valuable. That is the easily biggest improvement with this change. Currently, since it's still working in the beta, you can get these discounts for free on your mid-track gear. Now, as we established, it won't be too relevant, because even with the lowering of the crest cost for your upgrades, as we said, you're still expected to be done at the very earliest by week 5 with your hero track gear and hero crests, or for most other players at week 6, which means that these shenanigans of spending hero crests to get mid-track costs discounted will not be too effective yet, because you would still have hero track pieces that you would want to upgrade with hero crests anyways. This is more for later on, you know, for when you have essentially capped your hero pieces, you can't really upgrade them any higher, and you're still hunting for mid-track pieces. You are still going, you know, week by week, one more Great Vault, one more mid-track piece. Let's kill the first 3 or 4 mythic raid bosses, hoping to be given a piece of gear, and you still only have, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 pieces of mid-track gear. Eventually, you will cap all of your gear at hero track. You will not need your hero quests anymore, and that's when this discount will come in handy. The fact that you have saved in your bags the hero track pieces, so that when you loot a mid-track piece, you will have this, you know, 1 track discount by using your hero quests to upgrade the gear up to 6 out of 6, so that the mid-track 2 out of 6 will be discounted. So the change has been very positive. Lowering the upgrade crest has also made it easier for you, for example, to use weapons. It was a big problem before, because with the weapons now requiring so many more crests to fully upgrade, 150 crests to fully upgrade your weapon, it was going to be a very big cost to actually get powerful ones, to the point where it was just better to craft them, because the cost of the craft was much weaker. But instead now, standardizing the upgrades down to 20 per upgrade makes it much easier for you to actually go after good weapons again, instead of having to craft them. So it is a very good change. It's nice that Blizzard went back on this cost increase, which they're still trying to keep the same logic, which is slowing down the gearing process, not wanting players to get done with gear nearly as fast, but also keeping some of the crests more relevant for longer, since for many players, the ones that jump into Mythic Plus and push very early on, or do Mythic raiding, basically all of the crests but the mid-track crests would become obsolete within the 2nd, at best 3rd week of the season. With this set of changes, your hero crests and your hero track gear will be relevant for longer, even for the higher top level of play. Those will still be needed and powerful for longer. So that is the positive change we have for today. The walkback on the very high costs we used to have on the upgrade system for midnight when it comes to your gearing, which is still slower than the War Within, but not as slow as what it was planned to be. This is the change we have for today on this Saturday in the middle of our weekend. So with this declared and broadcasted to everyone, it is now time to go back to our weekend. We're starting our goodbyes by thanking everyone for having watched the video, together with, of course, everyone else who's been supporting Completely for free by liking and commenting down below, as well as subscribing to the channel itself. Now, with these things out of the way, thank you again for watching. See you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime, weird. I thought I slept enough, like 7 hours, but for some reason, I still feel weird.